Okay, well, we'd like to welcome everyone back to the 10 with Calton Nutrition. I'm Mira Calton,
And I'm Dr. Jason Calton. And together, we're the founders of Calton Nutrition and the authors of Rich Food, Poor Food, and Naked Calories.
and usually we're here in a Google Hangout, but Google didn't want to play nice, so instead we have a Skype conversation, and we have a fantastic guest for you today. And Jason, why don't you tell everyone who it is?
Well, I'm dying to tell you about our guest today,
But you can't.
but I can't. I'm going to go ahead and let him tell it because I think it's going to be so much better coming from him. What I will tell you is that our guest today lost over 200
Wow.
pounds without dieting, pills, without surgery. He learned how to live a stress-free life and really lived the life that he'd always dreamed of living. He's written the book The Gabriel Method. It's been translated into over 14 different languages.
That's impressive.
It's an international bestseller, and over 350,000 people worldwide have read the book. We're very excited to welcome our friend and colleague, Jon Gabriel. Welcome, Jon.
Well, thanks very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Really a pleasure. And by the way, I just want to say I just got your nutrition pack, your supplements. I absolutely love them.
Oh,
The second I took one in the morning one, I felt an instant change in my energy level. I mean, an instant change. I was looking for something. I was a little bit tired. I was about to go off for a bike ride. Everything shifted. It was really powerful. So
Oh,
I
thank you
really
so
appreciate
much.
it.
We're
Yeah.
we're
love to
very,
hear
very
that.
happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Jon's, of
Yeah.
course, talking nutrients, our multivitamin
Yeah.
nutrients. You guys know all about it. But
But now we're going to talk about
yes,
Jon because he has got a story to tell. So we're going to do our normal, the 10, and we're going to ask you and let people get to know you on a bit more of a personal level.
that's right.
Absolutely.
So the first question right at you is, why did you start down the path that you're currently on? What got you there?
Yeah, okay. So in order to answer that question, I have to go back to my story a little bit, which really started back in 1990 when I moved to Wall Street and I started working as a bond trader. And back then I didn't have a weight problem. I was 185 pounds. I was active, I was eating healthy, but weight was absolutely not an issue. I never had to fight cravings. I never had to think about what I was eating. It was all kind of effortless. And I started working as a bond trading assistant in a very, very stressful situation. And as soon as I moved to New York and started working in this position, I started gaining weight. I didn't think too much about it. It's not like I gained 200 pounds overnight. Maybe I gained 10, 20 pounds in the first 6 months or a year. And a lot of people do that. You know, you're working in a stressful job. You don't have time to exercise. You don't have time to make good food choices. I'm getting the falafel on the corner. You know, all these different things. I'm not thinking about it. I'm putting on a little bit of weight. But what happened was over the following couple of years, I continued to gain weight. It didn't stop. And so by 1992, I was about 220, 230 pounds. 1993, I was almost 250 pounds. It just kept going. And so I decided that I would do what everybody does to lose weight, which is go on a diet, because it just makes sense. Calories in, calories out, cut your calories, stop eating so much, and you lose weight. That's what we're all told. That's what we're taught. And so I did that. I went on a diet, and actually I went on a lot of diets, and every diet or program I went on always followed the same pattern. There'd be a whole list of things I couldn't have, whatever it was. No fat, no wheat, no sugar, no carbs, no salt,
No.
whatever it was, right, no fun, whatever it was. I followed the diet to the letter, and I'd lose weight maybe over a 3 week period. That's usually about the length of time that I could maintain a diet. That was my window of opportunity, was this 3 weeks before I would cave. But in that 3 weeks, I was perfect. And I would lose maybe 10 pounds through just sheer brute effort. And if you've ever lived in New York, you know that the smell of pizza at every street corner, nobody makes pizza. Nobody makes pizza like New Yorkers. It's at every corner, and it was deafening. It was killing me. And then I'd have this big binge, and I could just because I couldn't take it anymore. And in one day, maybe two, that 10 pounds would come back. It felt to me a little bit like, I always say, it's a little bit like holding a volleyball underwater, this restrictive dieting, because the second you let go, poof, it flies
Yeah.
back up. And that's what would happen to me. Literally, in a day or two, that 10 pounds that I took off through grueling effort, boom, it was back. And then a week later, I'd be 5 pounds heavier than when I even started the diet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this pattern went on for about 11 years where I'd lose 10 pounds, gain 15, lose 10 pounds, gain 15, until I had gained over 220 pounds and I was over 400 pounds. And when I say I tried everything, I worked face to face with Dr. Atkins. He was alive back then. He was living in New York. And I spent thousands of dollars. I used to meet with him every Monday morning. In the end, he just yelled at me for being so fat. He just said, "What are you doing? You're killing yourself." And I'm thinking, is that really the best you can do? You know, you're
Right.
Right.
Dr. Atkins, and the best you can do is yell at me. I went to the Pritikin Institute. I had acupuncturists put seeds in my ear, they tape seeds to your ear because there's an acupressure point here that when you press the seed, it's supposed to make you not hungry. So I'd walk around the streets of New York pressing the seed in my ear every time I smelled pizza. I do all these things, and this pattern continued until I was over 400 pounds. And I had very bad sleep apnea, so I wasn't sleeping well. I was borderline type 2 diabetic. All the signs, insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, elevated triglycerides, very high blood pressure, just the whole work, everything. And I sort of came to a place where I realized that dieting wasn't working for me, obviously. This pattern, I was sick of it. I was exhausted. I was exhausted just tying my shoes. I couldn't fight it anymore. And I decided I was never going to diet again. And instead, I was going to try to figure out why my body all of a sudden went into this perpetual fat storage mode. It wasn't that all of a sudden I became weak and lazy. We have this stereotype that overweight people are just weak and lazy and just eat less. And that wasn't the case for me. I mean, I was working 3 jobs at the time, and I was meeting with fitness trainers. I was exercising an hour a day on the stationary bike at night. I was really, really making an effort, whereas before I wasn't making an effort. So I wasn't buying into this whole thing that all of a sudden I got weak and lazy.
Right.
Right.
I knew it wasn't the case, and so I decided I was never going to diet again. I resolved myself to the fact that maybe I would have to spend the rest of my life at 400 pounds, but I wanted to figure out what was going on, what was causing my body to gain weight. And I studied biochemistry at the University of Pennsylvania. I was at the Wharton School, but I was thinking of becoming a doctor, so I was pre-med also. And that gave me enough of a foundation to go on the internet and learn as much as I could. And in addition to studying everything I could about the hormones and enzymes that are involved in fat making and fat burning, I also studied stress and how stress affects your body, because I knew that that was a big piece of the puzzle for me, because it wasn't until I was in this crazy high stress working environment that I started gaining weight. And I learned a lot about digestion and nutrition too. Not nutrition in terms of don't eat fat type of nutrition. Nutrition in terms of what does our body really need and what are we craving and what's going on. And so I put together sort of an approach where I was healing my digestion, because I realized if your digestion is not healthy, you're not assimilating nutrients. I started adding nutrients. I didn't diet, I added nutrients. I added lots of omega-3s, lots of live food. I had protein shakes, wheatgrass, juices, all these things I was adding. And I got my sleep apnea taken care of, which is also really crucial. And I started doing a lot of meditation and visualization to relieve stress. And the weight started coming off of me. And it didn't come off like I lost 40 pounds in 40 days, like a diet, and then I had to fight it. It came off slowly. Maybe I lost 25 pounds in 6 months, which when you're over 200 pounds, 400 pounds is not breaking any records. But I wasn't dieting. If I wanted chocolate, I would eat it. If I wanted pizza, I would eat it. But I made sure I was adding things that were healing my digestion, nourishing my body, and reducing stress. Then what happened was, after the first 6 months, I didn't have a plateau. I wasn't fighting cravings. I didn't have good days and bad days anymore. All that was gone, and I started to lose weight quicker. And I lost weight. Maybe I lost 50 pounds in the next 6 months, and then 100 pounds in the next year. It's like it kept accelerating to the very end, where I got back down to 185 pounds. The last 10 pounds flew off of me. I lost that in 4 weeks, when usually that weight people never ever lose. And it was because I was continuously nourishing my body, and my body was getting healthier and healthier. The inflammation, the stress, it was all going away. All the hormones that were causing my body to gain weight, all that was going away, and my body was just losing weight and losing weight. When that happened, I knew I had a message for the world. I was bursting at the seams, literally in a different way now, with a message. And that was that it's not about restriction. Yes, sure, you want to get to a place where you're eating less, but that it has to happen from an internal place. It has to happen organically, because you're dealing with the root causes. So I went on TV, I got a lot of publicity, and then I started working with people, and I found they had similar situations to me, and I was getting really great successes. The first lady I ever worked with, she read my book. She was 70 years old. She had type 2 diabetes. Her blood sugar was in the 1920 range when it should be in the 6 range. In 6 months, she lost 115 pounds. Her blood sugar was now stable. It was now 6. She wasn't taking any more medication for type 2 diabetes. And it just accelerated from there, where I realized I had a book in me. I had to tell people what was going on. And really what's going on, and my message to the world is that we gain weight because of different stresses in our lives that activate what I call the FAT programs, which are a primal survival program that we have that's originally designed to protect us against famines, but is stress related, because a famine is a stress. Sometimes the stresses in our lives cause the same chemistry as a famine, and our body gets tricked into activating this. So you've got to address the stresses in the chemistry that are activating this famine response, this FAT program. And when you do, it literally becomes effortless. In the last 10 years, I lost my weight 10 years ago. I never, ever think about weight anymore. I eat whatever I want. I do eat very healthy. I'm very active, but it's all what my body's craving now. And the whole idea of good days and bad days and counting calories has been out the window for 10 years for me, and now for thousands of people all over the world. For years, they haven't had to worry about counting calories. So that's really where it came from.
That's an incredible story.
Yeah.
And of course, our philosophies align so well.
Yeah, I know.
People have heard us talk a lot about the hidden hunger and how micronutrients come into play and all the different things that you've talked about. So if this intrigues you, make sure you check out the Gabriel Method and learn a little bit more about what Jon's saying. Now, our second question for you today, Jon, is name one thing that you've discovered about yourself this past year.
Probably this past year, what I've discovered is that what gives me the most joy in life is being as productive as possible. I can't describe it, but we have produced so many different products this year that are helping people, tapping for weight loss, yoga for weight loss, qigong for weight loss, a specific type of fitness program, different supplements, just different things. And I get tremendous joy. Whereas there was a time where my joys came from going to movies or going on vacation or going out late at night. That's not where it comes from for me. It's just I get so much pleasure out of putting together. We put together a free 21-day meditation for weight loss challenge where I made 11 meditations and Carol Look made 11 meditations. And every morning people were listening to it. We got 40,000 people to do it. We were getting responses. It was changing people's lives. That type of thing, more than anything, gives me joy. And that's what I've realized that this year is that being as productive as possible is really where it's at for me.
Especially because you're creating such valuable tools.
People are really appreciating it, and they're getting something out of it. These are people that they really, they go to the doctor says they eat less, they feel guilty, they feel shame, they're still gaining weight, they're sneaking chocolate on the side, they're exhausted all the time. Do you know what I mean? And now they're getting something that's energizing them.
Yeah.
And taking away the hunger. And so that's what feeds me right now, is that being productive in that space where people are getting some real benefit.
Yeah, I think we can relate to that a little bit too. People always ask us,
what's the movie?
Yeah, they're like, don't you guys get tired? I'm like, yes, we're tired, but in a good way. Because, we're trying to get our message and our work out there. So we can definitely relate with that.
So the next question you might have just answered, but what's your favorite part of your job?
Yeah.
My favorite part of my job is connecting with people. We do it in different ways. We do it through webinars and through support groups, but we also do a few live events. And sometimes after a group visualization, I open my eyes and there's a couple hundred people looking at me, and there's always one or two that I look at and I know that for the rest of their life something changed in them. Some spark was ignited that's putting them on a path of wellness, and then I'll hear about it months later and in the following years. And that connection for me is priceless.
And we can attest to the fact that we know that you're hands-on, because we got a call from a woman in I think in Canada, who said she had just gotten off the phone with you, and she called us to have a discussion after something you had said to her about our product nutrients.
Yeah. So
we know for a fact that he actually is on the phone with this group and really making a difference. She had nothing but amazing things to say about how much you're helping her.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, tell people when your next live event is too.
Well, I'm going to be doing I think a 1-week retreat at the Omega Institute in August. So it's not for a while, but we have a couple of virtual events. We're going to do a 6-week New Year, New You transformation. And that's one of my favorite courses. That's going to start in January. That's virtual, but we usually get 800 to 1,000 people. And every week we focus on a different aspect of health and wellness as it pertains to the Gabriel Method, and reducing the inflammatory signals that cause you to gain weight, nourishing your body, learning how to reduce mental and emotional stress. And it builds, this community of people. We have these question and answer sessions. They just keeps building and building, and people are getting more and more excited. That's probably my favorite event, and that's happening in January.
Well, fantastic. Well, now, our next question is, and this is just changing gears a bit, so what's your least favorite part of the job?
Probably when I'm doing a little bit too much traveling. It starts to, when I have a 30 hours of traveling to get to Europe and back, that it usually takes me a day or two to figure out where I am. Half of my body is somewhere or my mind is somewhere in the Atlantic, and it takes a while to find me and catch up. And so sometimes that can be a little bit debilitating. But other than that, I can't think of anything.
Okay, here's just a fun one. What is your favorite food? Like, what is, if you could only have one food, what's your favorite?
Does it have to really just be one food? I love most plant-based, foods. Almost every fruit I love. Most vegetables and salads I love. I do eat a lot of animal protein too, but fruits and vegetables and seeds are my favorite. I eat a lot of chia seeds, and I think if I had to eat one food, in the morning I combine chia seeds with tahini, which is sesame paste, and I put a little healthy salt in that and a little cayenne pepper, and that sustains me for a long time. You need a toothbrush when you eat that because it just creates a paste in every part of your gums, but. If I have to cheat a little bit on this statement and say I really would need two foods, I could live on, I could live on probably your nutrient drink plus chia seeds and tahini mixed together. I'm pretty sure I could live on that if I had to.
I want that recipe because that sounds interesting. I don't know how it tastes.
Chia seeds.
So chia seeds with unhulled tahini. Okay. Make sure you get a lot of the oil from the tahini. Mix it together. Put a little. You can do it a couple of different ways. You can add.
I like cayenne. That sounded cool.
Yeah, or you can go with a sweet route where you put unsweetened cacao, and maybe a little bit of banana and some coconut water. You can do it that way, or you can do it the savory way where you put a little cayenne pepper and salt.
Now, when you're talking about a healthy salt, you're talking about unrefined salt, like a Himalayan salt.
Himalayan salt, Celtic salt, sea salt, things that have trace nutrients.
Yeah. Perfect. Awesome. Yeah. All right, our next question for you here is, what would you do if you could do any other job in the world?
Have to give yours up.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't answer that question at the moment because there's nothing else that I do exactly what I want to do. I mean, if I wanted to do something different, I'd be doing it. So I can't think of anything. Be nice to be a rock star, I guess. I don't know, but I don't play a musical instrument.
Secret rock star.
Still, a lot of traveling though for that. But no, I can't think of anything that I'm doing exactly what when I get up in the morning. This is what I want to do, and I'm not thinking, "Gee, I wish I could." So it's really hard to get my head into that place. So I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. What is your least favorite word?
My least favorite word is can't. Can't. I can't because I've learned from experience that it's not that the things that we say we can't do are usually not true. It's just our own beliefs and our own ideas and limitations that we have in terms of what we think is possible. And I think that word stops us out a lot.
Yeah. Fear.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. If you could meet anyone in the world today, who would it be?
Do they have to be living?
No. Well, we'd like it to be alive.
We'd like them to be alive, just in case they're watching and might hear this.
I should have really looked at these questions ahead of time. These are not the questions that I'm normally. These are not the questions I've normally asked. I like Louise Hay a lot. I like Tony Robbins a lot, and for similar reasons. I really admire people that are speaking their truth with passion and living the life of their dreams and connecting with people and transforming people. So those are two people I think that would be up on my list.
Yeah, they're definitely on the top of our list, and you're definitely speaking your truth to masses. And so everybody listening right now, I just want to take a real quick break. Make sure, remember, this is the Gabriel Method. If you have not gotten this book, go and get the book, read the book. We'll have links.
We send clients over there all the time. It's a really great place for people who aren't getting their head quite around what's holding them personally back still. And that's really, really important factor.
A completely different way of thinking about diet. Okay? So let's continue.
Okay. Here's a fun one, something I like to do. Go on vacation. Where would you go? And you've probably already been there, but where would you go on a dream vacation?
I think that it's the what more than the where that I would say. Where would I go? Someplace warm, tropical. What would I do? I think I would like at some point in my life to spend a month in total silence, meditating, getting massages, doing basic simple things like yoga and physical fitness type things, and experimenting with lots of different tropical smoothies. I think to me that would be
like a great vacation.
a perfect month for me. That's what I'd like to do.
Wow.
What's your favorite tropical smoothie right now?
I like the smoothie. There's a place in Koh Samui, a detox retreat called Absolute Yoga, or Absolute Retreat, I think it's called, and they've got something they call it the skeleton, because it's got calcium in it, but it's got coconut water, tahini, watermelon,
Oh.
and some probiotics in it. I think it's got some friendly probiotics and a couple of other things in it. Oh, and it's got brewer's yeast, nutritional yeast.
Uh-huh.
And that combination between the tahini, the brewer's yeast, the coconut water, the watermelon, and I'm trying to think, and there might be something else like papaya in it, or I think it might be papaya, and it's really nice.
It sounds gross.
Well, this is our last question for you tonight. This is number 10, and this gets a little serious now.
Okay.
So, what's your hope for the future of food and health?
Yeah. So my vision is that people experience something similar to what happened with me, where they started looking internal for the answers to their health, both from a mind-body perspective, in terms of understanding that their own thoughts, their own beliefs, their own stresses are affecting their health. I mean, we see so much evidence that placebos can either heal you or hurt you. There was a study that I heard about recently where they gave a placebo group chemotherapy, and 30% of the placebo group lost their hair. We hear these incredible stories about how so the point of it is that people start looking inward for the solutions. That is, they start realizing that their own thoughts, their own beliefs, their own limitations, their own stresses are causing health problems, that they start looking for answers in terms of nourishing their body and healing their body rather than taking pills and cutting things out. That is, that there's really a paradigm shift in health toward going in and taking responsibility for your health inward, from a mind-body perspective, than from going out and saying, okay, cut me open, give me the pill, give me the treatments, and treating yourself really in a very detached sense, like you're a refrigerator that needs a spare part, that needs a spark plug change, when in reality you're this incredibly interdynamic sets of energies, of mental, emotional, physical energies that are interplaying all the time, and you have unlimited ability to heal yourself when you start looking in that direction. So that's the ultimate vision.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. So, quick question: if someone wanted to start, I think I know the answer. Probably to go to your website, and if they wanted to start right now, the best place to learn about the Gabriel method, would that be to read the first chapter on your website? Would that be what you suggest as a great first step for somebody?
I would say the best first step is to download the evening visualization CD and listen to it at night.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we have it under free content on our website. The website's thegabrielmethod.com. It's a 23-minute visualization. You listen to it as you're going to sleep at night. It helps reduce stress. It helps create positive images in your body. It helps your mind and body to work together. And from there, everything evolves. Then you find people like you who have incredible nutrients, and you become attracted to that, and you say, oh, yeah, let me try that, and different ideas you've come across a healthy smoothie recipe or a healthy breakfast, and everything starts from the mind, and that's the best way to do it. It's a free visualization. You just press it, you go to sleep at night. It'll help you get into a better night's sleep. That's the best way to start.
Absolutely. Then that we suggest everybody to go to do that. Thank you so much for being on the show. Mira and I are just such big fans of the way that you really approach health and nutrition. It's very, very refreshing, like you said, to really take responsibility for what's happened to us. And then after we start to do that, we realize that we have the control to heal ourselves once we get those tools. So, we can't get behind you enough. We can't tell everybody watching and listening right now to go to thegabrielmethod.com, start to learn about what Jon's talking about. Like I said, his technique with weight loss and overall health is just so completely different. It's really a breath of fresh air. We believe in it 100%. And again, thank you so much for being on the 10 with us today.
It's my pleasure. And I just want to say that the work that you're doing also is both mind blowing and revolutionary. You know, when I interviewed you last month, you were saying things about absorption of nutrients that I have never heard before, and the supplements that I've taken now that you've sent them to me, they totally have changed my energy level very, very quickly. And it's fabulous stuff. So I love your message and the work you're doing too. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, thank you. And I think they actually line up so well that we'd love to do more with you and
Excellent.
hopefully bring more messages to both of our tribes, because we both believe that it's not about being fat or lazy. It's about just not being nourished mentally, spiritually, physically in the way you be nourished.
It's learning to nourish yourself at every level of your being. Absolutely.
Well,
and we'd like to offer a coupon too to anybody who's watching right now. And they've been listening about nutrients, and Jon's been talking about nutrients, the multivitamin. What we'll do is we'll offer a coupon to anybody listening now who wants to try it. It's called the Gabriel Method. Just type in the Gabriel Method in our coupon code, and that will get you $10 off from Jon on nutrients. So if anybody watching right now wants to try it, we'd be happy to extend that coupon.
I just want to say one more thing about that your nutrients product.
Sure.
I haven't taken a multivitamin in 10 years. I don't believe in multivitamins because for the very reason that you guys know is that they don't absorb properly. You know, you take the wrong form of calcium, it ends up being calcium deposits in your joints, causes inflammation. The inflammatory hormones cause you to gain weight. And you think you're doing the right thing. The wrong type of vitamin D doesn't work. I don't believe in them. That I try to get it in by eating really, really healthy foods. I'm taking nutrients now. I'm taking your nutrient supplement. It's the only one I believe in, and I'm not kidding. And I think you're onto something just really fabulous. So.
Well, thank you so much. We put so much effort and time and passion. Of course, you know our story with Mira. And you can listen to our story with your interview too coming up. And we'll put a link on our website to that interview as well, so they can hear that.
Yeah. For us, it's been a labor of love to create it, and we're so happy when someone like you says, "I tried it and I felt something immediately."
Yeah. It really does mean a lot.
It works.
So.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time, and hopefully we'll talk again soon. Thank you,
Beautiful.
everyone, for tuning in. We appreciate the fact that you're watching and subscribing to our YouTube channel, and please tell others to watch us, to tell other people about how important the Gabriel Method is, and we'll check you out next time.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us on the 10. Remember, life's a journey. Discover health. We'll see you next time.
Excellent.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.